Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is me, Jordan Young, aka Sneakonomics, and today we are diving into the rumor mill to talk about some impending, exciting, hyped up sneaker releases. If you enjoy sneaker content, whether it is sneaker news, reviews, commentary, or comedy, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and if you don't want to subscribe, that is fine, you can piss off. No, I'm only joking, but not really joking. Now there are so many exciting sneakers coming out this year, but I just wanted to focus on a handful of very hyped up releases and talk about them. First of all, the Air Jordan 1 High Union. Now you guys might remember when the original Jordan 1 Union came out, they were actually hated on. A lot of people didn't think this sneaker was going to pop off. Some people said they looked ugly. Some people said that the combination just didn't work. And these have gone on to be a real grail for a lot of people. And you can understand why. They're a potent combination of simplicity, quality. Now there's been a number of leaks. There's been a number of leaks and reports from reputable and disreputable sneaker accounts and or creators suggesting that another Union 1 High is in the pipelines. This speculation has led to a number of different mock-ups. Now I don't know how you guys feel about mock-ups, but I feel like mock-ups to a certain extent should be banned. The reason I think mock-ups should be banned is because in a number of cases, the mock-up colorways tends to be better than the product that we end up getting. It's a little bit like a band or a music artist's hype man getting the crowd so rocked up and so pumped, only to be let down by the artist themselves. I almost feel like the person responsible for leaking the colorways to the mass public should really just contact the people doing these mock-ups directly and say, listen man, here's the style code we're thinking about working on. Can you just give us the mock-ups? They then proceed to do the mock-ups and then just give that shoe to Nike, who can manufacture it directly. I can't tell you how disappointing it is to get really pumped up for a sneaker only to be let down when the official images release. I think the most famous recent example we can probably all identify with is last year with the Amamanye Jordan 4s. So the mock-ups that we've seen include like a Chicago blended with what looks like it could be, I don't actually know what that other colorway on it. It looks like a light sort of sailish kind of colorway. There's a UNC mixed with maybe a Georgetown. There's a few different renditions out there. Now these kinds of images are really awesome for like clickbait sneaker accounts because they attract a lot of engagement with people arguing whether or not it's a good idea or not, people arguing whether or not they're going to end up releasing. I think the important thing to remember is that these are mock-ups, meaning they are nothing more than digital conjecture or pictorial speculation. These are in all likelihood not going to come out like this, and so I think it's important that we don't get our hopes too vested in seeing a union like this. Although there is a look-see sample out there that looks really cool, which is a combination of the neutral gray as well as the Chicago. I don't think it would make much sense for this kind of a colorway to come out though, because we just had a Chicago Jordan 1 High last year. There's another Spider-Man Chicago-inspired Jordan in the pipelines. It feels like it would be a real oversaturation of the Chicago colorway were this particular model come to fruition. Some people have weighed in and suggested that the collab could likely be a Jordan 1 High KO. This seems to be piggybacking on the Union Jordan 1 Low KO that is set to come out later this month, which is a pretty cool looking sneaker. It's got like this Velcro swoosh, some Union details, the special packaging, all that sort of jazz. I'm not overly keen on the low top canvas Jordan 1, but they definitely look like a good summer banger. It sort of makes sense that Union would do a KO high. How do you guys feel about Union, and how do you feel about the prospect of a Jordan 1 High KO? For me personally, I kind of feel like it's all been downhill for Union since this. It's almost like they came out of the gates with their best album ever, and every album that they've come out with subsequently has been a little bit of a miss. For example, the Jordan 4s were a little bit of a miss in a lot of people's opinions in the context of hype and reselling, you could make an argument that the Dunks were a little bit of a miss. You could also say that the Union 2s were a little bit of a miss as well in terms of their resellability, profitability, which generally correlates to hype. As a collector and someone that likes to have a little bit of everything, I quite like the idea of having all of these different Union sneakers. But when I really think about it, the absolute best of the bunch is the Union 1s. The next big sneaker rumor I want to talk about are these, the SB Dunklo Heineken 2.0s. This one's a bit of a tricky one, and it brings up an interesting talking point that I would be interested in hearing your guys' opinions on. It's this whole idea around re-releasing hyper rare sneakers for a new and updated market. Nike and others really try to capitalize on the nostalgia around certain releases and certain pairs in order to keep us hooked in, plugged in if you will, into the game, and this sneaker is the perfect embodiment of that. The first Heinekens came out in 2003, and they take their inspiration obviously from the Heineken branding, and it's the red star stamp on the back that made the connection to Heineken overtly obvious and brought about some legal action from Heineken where the sneakers had to be halted. Do you think these kinds of sneakers should stay rare and stay more for the hardcore collectors, or do you like seeing these kinds of sneakers retro? Let me know in the comments. Last up, I want to talk about one of the most exciting Jordan 4 releases of the year, the Air Jordan 4 Nike SB collab. It has a lot of people really excited because the popularity of SBs has been around since their inception, but has definitely been heightened in recent times thanks to people like Travis Scott. And then you have the hype around the Jordan 4, which doesn't look like it's going anywhere at the moment. And with a release like this, it's only going to double down and firm up the hype around Jordan 4s, at least for the moment. What we've seen so far is a sample pair worn by Eric Costin. This is in a Black Cat colorway, which has led people to speculate that we're going to get a Black Cat SB4. I don't think that's an entirely reliable supposition to go off, because sample and wear tests are generally created in an all black material so as not to give anything away. Kind of makes sense, right? The other colorway that we have been privy to, a white green sail colorway. It's like a military green style color blocking, and the most recent updated images we've got contain a gum sole. March 20th release, subject to change of course. 2 or more colorways, with one colorway being the sail pine green, and we can expect some kind of retooling. This could include a fatter tongue or more reinforcements and padding around the ankle collar, some updates to the outsole, and possibly a reinforced insole unit a la the SB. I'm not sure, but this is definitely a release worth getting excited about. And if you are a skater and you like your Jordans, this is obviously going to be a must cop, but you can expect this sneaker to be incredibly difficult to get, and depending on the numbers, very expensive on the resale. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the Jordan 4 is a good model to repurpose for skating, or do you think it's a bit clunky and maybe won't give you that board feel so you can do your tail whips? Let me know in the comment. And so that's it for another episode, fam. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. I think the takeaways from today's episode are: employ the people that do mock-up sneakers directly so that we can bypass the hype and get straight to the sneaker and circumvent the disappointment that a lot of these mock-ups ultimately bring us. Thanks for taking the time to watch, you guys. So let me know in the comments what you think about these upcoming releases, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. Take care for now, and peace.